Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joni Young, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this pretty star in the forest landscape step by step on 11 by 14 stretched canvas. And we've got titanium white, dioxazine purple, phthalo blue, and turquoise. I'll list all the colors and brushes below in the description box. This is a new brush I'm using. Some kind lady sent me a bunch of brushes in the mail. I want to thank her so much. Christy Bruno, thank you very much for all these wonderful brushes. This is a 2-inch flat. Okay, so we're going to begin. So get it just a little bit wet, dab it off on the towel. I'm going to begin with turquoise. So what we want to do is just tap into the turquoise lightly like this. We're going to begin placing it on the bottom, and then we're going to start pulling up. Now I need to get my brush a little bit more wet. I'm going to pull. So you just want to line your brush up like this, kind of pull and flick up, almost like when we're making those instant forests. I'm going to get the sides of the canvas too, just so that it looks nice from every angle once it's hanging on the wall. I'm going to take a little bit more turquoise this time. I want this to be a little bit thicker. Okay, now I'm going to take my phthalo blue right away. Look how pretty this color is. And I'm using Arteza today. And I'm going to start kind of right in the middle here. Now I'm turning my brush this way, guys. So flicks up and down. So each time you're softly picking up a little bit of this turquoise and blending it into the blue. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more now and start bringing it up higher. And then I'm going to lightly pull. I need a little bit more water in my brush here. So we want to kind of get these little lines in here. Okay, now I'm going to wash my brush off. I'm going to dry it off really well, making sure that I don't have a bunch of water dripping out of my brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of purple. This is Dioxazine Purple. I'm going to start right from the top here. And I'm going to do the same technique, sliding up and down with my brush without taking it off of the canvas. Okay, and as you can see, we don't need a whole lot of paint for this size of canvas. Forgot to carry this color out on the side. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my blue and add this on the edge. And I'll add it on the top as well. Now before this all dries, I'm going to wash that brush off and switch over to another one. I'm going to take a little Filbert brush here, a number 12, and without getting any water on my brush, I'm going to take a bit of white, and I'm going to begin pulling a little bit of white very lightly, picking up a bit more. This is just to make a few lighter shades and tones in here. And it's okay if you pick up a little bit of that blue and drag it down here. I'm going to come up. Okay, so this isn't blending as easily as I'd like. That means the paint is starting to dry quickly in here. I must have it a little bit too warm. So I'm just going to take a little bit of water, make my brush slightly damp, and then I can start blending this. So I'm going to go right up into the purple and the blue area in here. And look at how pretty They just blend in to one another. I'm going to wipe the excess paint off on my towel and then come right in here. Slide the colors into one another up and down with a brush. I'm going to wash the excess paint out of my brush, go right back to the white. Blend up and down, purposely leaving some lines in there. A little bit of water again. So you really don't need a lot of water. My canvas is a little bit bumpy, as you can probably see. This is one that I've painted over a few times, and the painting underneath was sort of impasto. It was pretty thick, textured. And I think that can kind of enhance the paintings after, when you build up that bit of a texture there. I like the way it looks. And sometimes I use those little bumpy lines to my advantage in a landscape. I'll decide to add a tree or a branch right there, making it look even more 3D. Okay, so I like the tones and the blending that we've got here so far. And what I need to do is come in with some lighter turquoise. So I'm going to take some white and the turquoise, make a nice light minty color. And I'm going to bring some of these light turquoise areas up higher. A little bit like that, and then I'll go back into just straight turquoise. The only thing you just don't want to do is end up making it too light, because we're going to be adding our little dangling stars after. So you want to have some lighter tones in there, but you don't want them to be like a bright color that are going to compete too much with the little lights that we have up there. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my long liner brush. This is a number 3, and it's quite a long one. I'm going to get my brush wet, and I'm going to take my beautiful phthalo blue here. I'm going to take a little bit of my Dioxazine Purple and a tiny bit of white, make almost like a frosty grape color. And it's loose enough, I've got enough water on here that I can easily and effortlessly pull that paint out and move it around wherever I want it to. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling in some little trees in the foreground here. I'm going to get a little bit more water in my brush. Take some more of this, a little bit. Now I have 3 different little areas of white here. That's just so that if I get one too dirty, then I can have 2 other ones that are completely clean and untouched to work with. So maybe we've got a little bit of leaves and foliage in here on this tree. So you can do both techniques with this liner brush. You can create these little lines, and then you can also add little taps by tapping lightly for small ones, or a little bit harder for some longer branches and leaves. And we're going to have our main branch right in here. I'm just going to take a little bit of this white here, slide it into that light purpley color that we made, and we'll start right here, kind of go up, down into kind of little loops like this. Pull in a little bit more, create some more loops. So we'll just let that sit there. We're going to add the dark tree branch, the main tree branch, in silhouette after, but I'm going to just leave that area there for now and come in with some more of my phthalo and purple, a little bit of water. I can add a tree right in here. See how I'm holding the brush flat? And then it kind of drags those little hairs on the end, giving this tree the look of fuzzy moss or bark sort of breaking off of it, peeling off on the outside. We have this big tree back here going all the way up. Maybe we can have something a little bit thicker right here. Maybe we'll see if we can make some drips. A lot of water on your brush. I might need to add another little drip of water to help that one work its way down. So this is just a really fun technique that I use for a lot of things. If you want to create more of a looser, abstract forest, or just really quick and easy trees. This is something I like to apply in all my paintings. Well, most of them, not all of them, I should say all of them. It works really well for this type of painting when we have a forest. You can take some turquoise here. And let's just help these a little bit with some more water. It's nice to have this little drip tray, a catch tray, or a towel below just in case, because this can be quite messy. And I'll just add a few little, maybe little bits of grass in here. So look at how much we're using this little liner brush today, guys. You can use it for so much in a painting. Don't ever think that you can't complete a painting because you don't have all the brushes. You can do a lot. One brush can take you so far. Alright, so I'm kind of thinking it would look really cool to have maybe some mushrooms. So I'm kind of just gonna do my own thing with what I've got on my mind, and I don't paint a lot of mushrooms, but they kind of just go swirl up into a round point on the top, and then they kind of look like a floppy hat. Think of it that way. A little floppy hat. And I'm going to make them kind of glowing like this, so I'm just using my titanium white. And then I'm going to do a little line underneath like this, and pull little lines so that we can see maybe the bottom part of this little mushroom. And then a little line like that. Now if it's too bright, we can come in and just add a little bit of our turquoise. So the darker your background, is, the more these will show up. So this is quite wet right here, but I'm going to try to add a little mushroom here. So a little one like that. And then a little line. So they don't all have to be that big. Sometimes you can just do a little lump like that. And then a bunch of little ones just down at the base of this tree here. Just gonna prop this up a little bit like that and hope that it doesn't fall over. Just carefully do that, and I'm gonna bring my turquoise down to the bottom here. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of this purple. It's kind of watered down, purpley blue. A little bit of the phthalo and the purple. I'm going to make some of this a little bit darker down here. This will help create this beautiful glow that we have in here if we make this a little bit darker at the bottom. Darker at the top and the bottom helps to just draw your eye in and create that really nice light to dark effect. And then we've got some little mushrooms here that are in shadow. This is a great little brush to use. The Filbert's nice because when you're creating something that's kind of a half moon or rounded top, you've got that with this kind of a brush. I've got a whole tutorial on my must-have brushes. I think it's called, I think I titled it my top 5 must-have brushes, but I got a little carried away because I actually added 6. There's 6 brushes in there, not 5. Just gonna add a little bit of that shadow in there and kind of help guide this little drip down. I'm going to add a little bit more light turquoise. I'm using another liner brush. This one's just a little bit thicker, and it's a number 1. And if it doesn't show up, like that's not showing up as well as I'd like it to, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the white to some of these. And a little white highlight. These little highlights just make it stand out. And if you want to have these little lines that start right about here. These little subtle details can add that much more character to your paintings. Depends on what you're after. Want something a little bit more impressionistic and not as much details. You can just do a basic shape like this. So I'm going to have some little ones in here. Lots of little ones. Okay, now come in with my dark shadow for this branch. I'm going to use my phthalo blue. It almost looks black, doesn't it? It's so dark. And I'm going to come over top, really make this the darkest part of the painting. Deep, dark branch. We're going to have all our beautiful little fairy lights or stars, whatever you want them to be. Let's have some more right in here. Another big branch coming from there. Using a lot of paint. Oh, I thought I saw some fly off the canvas out of the corner of my eye. Glad that didn't hit one of my paintings on the wall. Gonna water down this paint. Quickly get this to drip. Some more drips going here to help play off of this light. It's such a nice color combination too, using the phthalo blue and the dioxazine purple. Just going to wipe off that excess paint, go back over to my titanium white and a little bit of turquoise. Let's add a little bit of some light right in here. What a nice, soft, glowy light and atmosphere we're creating. It's nighttime, but it's inviting. It's not scary. And we've got a few little flowers in here, or leaves. And mix our blue, purple, and turquoise. And then if we think we've added a bit too much, we'll just bring that shadow right back. I'm just going to outline this mushroom here a little bit. Make this stand out a bit more. A couple lines in here. And maybe have a tree. A little something behind it to make it stand out. It'll also help to create that glow. So I'm just using purple, blue, and a little bit of white so that it's not quite as dark as that one. I'm going to pick up a little bit of water here. to take a little bit of titanium white on the tip of my brush and just start adding little lights. And then with my pinky, just going to dab to kind of soften them up a little bit here. Wash my brush off. You can make them little mushrooms if you want, just by pulling a little line like that, or you can keep them as little soft glowing lights. Okay, I think I'm ready to come in with these little lights hanging now. So what I'm going to do is take white and a little bit of turquoise. Add in a little bit water so I can pull like that. So I'm going to do little dabs wherever I want to have the lights hanging. So I'll do the dabs first, and then I'll do the light, like the lines that's connecting them. So we're going to create a little glow first. So I'm just taking my pinky. We're wiping most of it off, but we'll need to create that little soft glow first. So add a little bit like that. Some of them are going to be a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white again. I'm just going to go dab lightly right inside them. So this one doesn't really have enough of a glow. Let's make that one a little bit fuzzier looking. We can bring some down here too. I'm going to use my longer, thinner liner brush for this part. I'm going to get a bit wet, and then I'm just going to slide, kind of roll and twist, and pull that paint, twist and pull off, twist and pull off, until I get the right consistency. You don't want it to be too watery, otherwise you're going to be left with no little lights. We're just pulling down little lines like that. Now if you want, you can steady your hand, placing your pinky. You can go from the bottom up if you want. Up a little bit of purple right there, accidentally. I'm going to use the paint right on here because there's a bit too much. Pull. Pull and flick up. So just little lines. I'm going to pick up a little bit of turquoise with my white Make some of this a little bit lighter and softer in here, and at the same time adding some more little dots and a little haze around them. So if you want them to be really bright white, you can, but it's also nice to give them a little bit of that turquoise or even a little bit of a blue glow behind them. So I can just go over that one, take a little bit of white on my paint or on my finger. So you can really play around them. Make some of them bigger if you want like that. And then sometimes you can blend easier with a little, this one's a little bit of a stiffer Filbert. And I'll just take a bit of water, a little bit of green or turquoise, scumble that off. So if you do a continuous little circle like that, okay, so I'm going to add the final little dab of light, little dots inside of these. Oh, I can't forget the little string hanging there. Let's make sure we have those. So pull, dot. Whoops, that one I accidentally pulled down some purple. Dot. Let's pull up this time. Where else? Right here. There. And you don't have to get them exactly perfect, right? I'm going to re-highlight some of these here. Have them twisting over and intertwining. Let's make a pretty light purpley color here. Just going to outline a few of these little mushrooms, and then I'm going to call this painting all done. You can outline them with whatever color you want. I'm just using straight Dioxazine Purple and then adding a little bit of white at times to make that light pretty color that I used up here. And a final little branch in there, and I'm going to call this one all done. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot today and got inspired. Give this video a like, subscribe for more art inspiration. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.